Shalawam, Shalawam. Hope I'm coming through loud and clear. Hope the sound is good. Alright, first and foremost, all praises be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well and sincerity taught us this truth. And Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect, 144,000 men, as well as 1/3 men, women, and children. It's your brother Yahawashi Kazak, back with hopefully another edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Kakadash. This one will be entitled 2 Weeks My Ass. Okay, so sending around, we got an article sending around Iran and U.S. Okay, you know, brothers is watching, you already know that the U.S. just hit Iran with 3 strategic missile strikes at their nuclear sites. Okay, and hey, Shalawam, Malak, Yahawah, Shem, Yahawashi, Barak, Ahtham. Alright, so at these nuclear sites, their nuclear sites, first of all, are located, you know, roughly 200 meters, I believe. I have to really get the approximate, but it's like they're drilled underground. They're underground, deep. So what did America use? They used bunker busters from B2, you know, what is it? B2 bombers, yep. So B2 bombers, they dropped bunker busters, missiles that basically leave and use the acceleration that is dropping from the plane, and it uses that to drill into the ground, and then it explodes when it gets to the depth that it's supposed to get to. Alright, and I have to look more into that on the science behind it, but just know it gets the job done. Alright, you know, so this is what took place. Now, why the title is 2 Weeks My Ass is because Trump said yesterday, this man literally said out of his mouth, he said, I'm going to need 2 weeks to decide my decision. Right? You're going to need 2 weeks to decide my decision. The decision on if he's going to engage in warfare with Iran or not. If he's going to engage. And he said he was going to give Iran time to think about it. Maybe come back to the negotiating table. Okay? And all this type of ways. But hey, as somebody said in the comment board, he's lying. Exactly. Okay? You know, but get this idiot out of here. Alright? But exactly, he was lying. So the scriptures come to mind. Alright, never trust thy enemy. Another scripture is they got, you know, they speak sweet, or they speak, but their words is they're in their heart is war. And I'm gonna get it when I get to my destination in a minute. Right? So they just thinking, they saying things out of their mouth, but they don't mean it, which is a liar. That's what Esau is. That's what the devil is. That's what Satan is. He's a constant liar. He consistently with it. He's never gonna stop. Let me see if I can get that one. It's like Psalms. Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Smoother than butter, softer than oil. Right? So it sounds like a good thing, but it's really not a good thing. Everything that he says, you can't trust it because it's not realistic. He's a liar. He paints to you an illusion. Look at his nation. Look at the so-called American dream, right? The so-called American dream where you're supposed to go to work 9 to 5. Some people work 12 hours, 16 hours, right? You're supposed to be able to pay for all your bills, have a nice house, maybe take a vacation once a year. That's not possible, all right? Off of one paycheck, one salary, that's not possible, all right? A household, especially out here in California, you have to have at least 2 people working, and then some extra income some other kind of way, hustling some other kind of way, right? So It's impossible what Esau is trying to give you. It's unrealistic, you know? And then on top of that, they're hitting you with all this other type of stuff. Right? Taxes, fees, property taxes, right? Registration, and it's not set up for anybody to win, right? So never trust thine enemy. This is hard slavery, especially with the labor and the working you're doing, right? I literally worked today. I went to work today, and you know that if Esau could have it, I would be back at the plantation tomorrow. But I'm like, nah, you know, I ain't gonna go tomorrow. So they want you to work. At the place I'm at, they want you to work. They really want you to work 7 days a week. No breaks. Right? Weekends are mandatory. And that's how wicked he is. While he's sitting back, relaxing, you know, enjoying the fruits of not of his labor, because he ain't work, he didn't build his country. Just his position. Because he rules by the sword. Keep that in mind. He rules by the sword. This individual is wicked. So I want to get the article, and I'm going to get the article when I get to my destination. Let's get some more of this Psalms 55 and 21. 22, cast thy burden upon Yahawah, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. So when it comes to these situations that's taking place, we ain't tripping over all of this. We know this is a part of prophecy. This has to happen, right? WW3. Okay, so we are looking forward to these things taking place and forming, because that has to happen for the prophecies to be fulfilled. As a individual that believes in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, what you would say God, or so-called Jesus Christ, whatever, you know what I'm saying? His true name is Yahawashi, and the Father's true name is Yahawah. You believe in him, then you will believe and you would want his word to come to pass, right? So war would be something that you're looking forward to, in the sense that you want it to happen, because you know it has to happen for Yahawashi, our king, to come back, right? He's going to take the crowns off of all these kingdoms, off of all these kings, off of all these so-called lords, and bring a righteous sense of society back to this earth. A new heaven, a new earth, right? A new society, a new environment, established with the foundation of Yahawah, with the laws, commandments, and statutes in mind. Also with the order of Melchizedek, right? Where these nations will come and give tithes to the Israelites, to the true rulers. But it will be a better rulership, right? When we go into the scriptures, they just hear us talk about, they might hear a brother say slaves, servants, handmaids, etc. But they're not understanding the greatness that they're about to feel. Meaning that it's going to be far better than this. You're actually going to be able to eat good food, not polluted, you know, vegetables, fruits. It's going to be good for you. So anything that you got right now is going to be far better than that, right? Even though you will be under servitude. You're under servitude right now. You're in slavery right now under a wicked individual, all right? So how much... Hey, they want Jake to be in rulership, man. They just don't even understand it. All right, let me get in here. I'll give me some passion fruit juice. I've been on. I had a craving for it. Right, and then I'm gonna get the article when I part. The pull up on Vayarta. And I love the Northern Kingdom stores, man, because they be having the good exotic fruits and vegetables, right? That Walmart and all that, you know, these regular joints don't have. But you go to Issachar and they got it. They got the sour sop, stuff like that. Alright, so I'm gonna put this article out. And And this is it from NBC News. And it reads, U.S. bombs 3 Iranian nuclear sites. Trump addresses nation. Live updates. And my mom's told me he did like a little address, like 10 minutes or so. I don't know. I ain't peep it. Right? I'm gonna just read the article. The U.S. attacked 3 sites tied to Iran's nuclear program, President Donald Trump said Saturday night on Truth Social. Oh, he on the social media site? This man is so unprofessional, man. He later warned Iran against retaliating and said he hoped further strikes would not be necessary. Do you think they just gonna take that shit like they ain't nobody scared of you? Esau, nobody is scared of you anymore, bro. Okay? Nobody. You can't even, everybody can see your power is done. You almost out of here. We are on your corners of your so-called great city, knocking you down, right? We are exposing you, even at that level. And then on this level, you trying to, fearmonger another nation that hates you. Their motto is death to America. Don't you think they want this? They want this energy. If they saying that, and they got China, Russia, North Korea, BRICS nation, South Africa, right? India, all right? These nations backing them, Brazil, okay? Venezuela, right? Cuba. Don't forget Russia. I remember last year, Russia pulled up in Cuba with a nuclear sub, okay? And they sat there for a couple days. It made front page news. I did a lesson on it, right? So these are little building blocks to America's, Babylon's destruction. The pieces are being set up. I've been playing chess with the Ahtham, and when brothers got strategies, etc., you want to build up a certain position on the board, right? So that's what's going on. You want to build up a certain position. You want to get enough nations together that hate America. And it's enough nations together that hate America. So you can bully Iran. You can tell them, we hope no more missile, no more, don't retaliate. And we hope we don't got to do this again. They're not scared of that, bro. They're not scared of that. All right? It also says they completed a successful attack at 3 locations: Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. Right? In an address to the nation tonight, Trump said Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities were completely and totally obliterated. And I don't believe that's true. He just saying that shit. That's propaganda. Like I was saying, their sites, but they use bunker busters, so they could have did damage, right? But their sites are deep underground, right? And you don't know where they are spying, right? So they possibly could know their sites, but they probably got other sites. All right, nobody's gonna show his whole card. All right, and regardless, they still got other ways to destroy Israel and other ways to attack back, and they still have insurgents in this country. All right, trust and believe, they have been planning for this over the decades. This ain't just new. They ain't just wake up last week and say they hate America. No, it's a lot of bitterness. It's a lot of anger, and it's a lot of built up animosity towards this wicked ass devil. All right, so they're not gonna be took out with three strikes. They're not gonna be took out like that. All right, Yahawah Bahasham, Yahawashi is behind these nations to come and take this nation down. Ultimately, that's what it is. So keeping it going, Trump's decision to directly involve the United States in the conflict comes more than a week after Israel and Iran began trading attacks, which we know Israel and Iran, these were both proxies. First, it started with smaller proxies, Hamas, and Hamas being used. And what's the other one? I can't remember the other one, but you had these little terrorist organizations coming and fighting one another, right? So then it upscales. It gets to a bigger level of Israel going to Iran, right? Back and forth, back and forth. That's another proxy, because ultimately the major countries want to fight one another. Russia and the US, or US and China. So this proxy war is about to peel back, and you're about to get a full-fledged WW3, all right? Because countries are aligning. Keep saying this. Pakistan and India are aligning. They're picking sides, and they're already in a conflict, all right? Hamas and Ukraine also, that's a proxy. The water, that's a proxy. Ukraine is a proxy, and it's also a way to funnel money, because money was being sent to Ukraine. We need money for Ukrainian support, but it was just being sent to the Amalekites, all right, Amalek, all right, at the end of the day. So it was being used as a tunnel to send money over there, all right. And that's why the Amalekites said, we want the anti-air missiles that's used in Ukraine to be sent over here to Israel to protect us. So they basically saying, F Ukraine, they don't matter, right? Bring all the big dogs, bring them over here to help us, because we got to fight Iran, right? So this stuff's about to take place. And it's other reports of China shipping ammo, and all type of war military materials to Iran, okay? And Russia doing the same thing, okay? So alliances are built. That's what you need. That's what you needed for World War II. You had the Axis and the Allies. These alliances were made. They were built. So you have the sides, right? It's like when you playing ball, you picking teammates. I want dude, he kind of tall. I want bro, I saw him hitting threes. I want him over here, he got good defense, etc., whatever, right? So sides are picked, 5-on-5, whatever, all right? Multiple nations, BRICS against NATO, all right? The playing field is set. We all of us was waiting for the U.S. to step onto the court. We all been waiting on that to happen. And now that it's happening, like we always say, bro, when these prophecies get to rolling, for you, what is it? Woe to them that you want the day of the Lord to come quick, all right? Because you're not really believing in it, you know? So it's going to come, and then you're going to be like, dang, it's too late. Because it's going to be too late for you to get the truth. Amos 8:11 is going to pass, all right? And you didn't believe that none of this was going to happen. But when it starts popping, when it starts rolling, it's not going to slow down. It's going to be moving with no brakes, all right? An out-of-control train car. That's what it's going to be. These prophecies when they get to going. So Trump's decision to directly involve the United States in the conflict comes more than a week after Israel and Iran began trading attacks. Israel's government says its bombing campaign is aimed at preventing Tehran from developing nuclear weapons. No breakthroughs on diplomacy. Iranian foreign minister Abbas I ain't doing that Iran was not sure it could trust the United States. Well, we know now, all right, back to Psalms 55:21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. A week ago, about a week and a half before Israel attacked Iran, the U.S. said they was not going to get involved. They told Iran that. They said, y'all good. We not, it's all good. They didn't know an attack was coming the next day. Okay? Who's funding Israel? So as you can see, Iran feels betrayed. They feel that you can't trust these individuals. Okay? It's the devil. You know that. You can't. You making a deal with him, you can't trust him. He goes back on his word every single time. Right? In all his actions. Check his track record. Finishing it up. Let's read that again. That Iran was not sure it could trust the United States and that it would not negotiate as long as Israel continues its attacks. The Israeli military chief said yesterday that the country is ready for a prolonged campaign against Iran. And Israel be having that mindset of, we're not stopping until we have the land. That's what they did with Gaza. And now they got that mindset towards Iran. Okay? And knowing that they're going to lose. But a brother, Shalawam, the brother GMS Melbourne, brought it out about the Solomon plan that they have, where if they get nuked or they get in a position where they're going to lose a war, they would nuke everybody. Not Solomon, but the Samson plan that they have. All right, you can Google that. So they would nuke other countries. They would nuke their allies. They would nuke their enemies. They're basically just like, suicide mission. They don't care. They're losing. If we can't win, we can't have the Holy Land, nobody can. That's their feelings towards the rest of the planet. They would nuke major cities and their allies. It says they would nuke New York. They would nuke Paris. They would nuke their allies. This is somebody that you want to be aligned with, right? And you got that dummy that did an interview with Tucker Carlson. He said, I learned in church when I was a kid, those that bless Israel shall be blessed. Yeah, who is real Israel though? Who is the real Israelites? All right, at the end of the day, man, these dudes, but it is what it is. And I'm going to get a couple scriptures and we wrap it up. Hundreds killed. Israeli strikes have so far killed at least 400 people in Iran and injured 3,000, according to Iran's health ministry. The death toll in Israel from Iran's retaliatory strikes remain at 24. Because Iran ain't going willy-nilly and just attacking civilians. But Israel, they attacked an apartment complex because the general lived there. Like I said the other day, you could have waited till that man got back to base and attacked the base. You could have blew up his car on the way to work or something. You attacking entire apartment complexes where innocent bystanders are there. And no one passes being innocent. But these are war crimes, right? You don't supposed to involve civilians if it can be avoided. But that's showing you also the mindset of this devil. He does not care. That's why the numbers from his attacks are far greater than the numbers from Iran. Iran has kept it low, 24. But Israel, from your attacks, 400 people dead, 3,000 injured because of the way that you carry out your attacks without any regard or consideration for anybody else, man. All right, you just that's that mass shooting type spirit. You just want to go through and take everybody out. You don't care who get hit. Extremely wicked. So Zephaniah 3:8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahawah, until the day that I rise up to the prey, for my determination is to gather the nations. So like we said earlier, right? These nations, Yahawah has a spirit placed on them. He has a spirit to rise up. He has a spirit to hate Amalek, to hate America, to hate these Edomites. It's a spirit on them. It's a spirit on Russia, even though they are Edomites. It's a spirit on him to get back into that USSR type of spirit, where he's strong. He's going forth and he's being a threat to the U.S. once again. All right, I get that for you. Okay, Ezekiel 35:6. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahawah power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Exactly. He loves death. He loves violence. You reap what you sow. This is what he put in, so this is what's going to come back to him. Hate. He hates us continuously, perpetually, as it says in Amos 1:11. All right, so since you hate us perpetually, you hate the Most High, you want to be like him, etc., etc., he hates you perpetually, continually, with righteous indignation. Indignation, that's righteous anger. So you get what you put in, Esau. And also Proverbs 16:4, Yahawah has created the wicked. So you were created to be in this position as well. Right? So, it's a beautiful thing that we get to see this stuff take place. So gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. And that's talking about them ICBM missiles coming down on certain countries. All right? Every country won't get hit, but key countries will be hit. U.S., most likely Canada, most likely the UK, all right? Definitely Russia, China, it's just going to be a nuke party, man. All right? When it gets to going, it's gonna go. And if you know anything about nuclear warfare, that's pretty much the end, you know. Because the radiation, it's still radiation over there in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, okay. So it's it is what it is, man, and I love to see it come to pass. So expect for this to take another level. Expect for this to really get rolling now that U.S. has jumped into the battle. All right, we can expect to possibly see Russia and China jump into the battle. All right, and this is what they all been preparing for. And Russia got them new jets, those 6th generation jets that can actually evade radar. They were showing how it can it can make it look like it teleported on the radar system. It's advanced technology. I saw an article today. China, they built the whole bridge using AI, no humans involved, just AI. So this is where they're at with AI. They build a car every 33 seconds. Boom, a car just got made, right? This is where they at with AI, So it's and then when they want to take Taiwan, that's another thing to look for. I always talk about that because of the CHIPS semiconductors, and Taiwan makes 60% of all the CHIPS on this planet. Right, of all the nations, Taiwan is making the most. Right, brother said it's a beautiful time to be alive. Con, man, it is. I got you. Ecclesiasticus 25:7. And it's a beautiful time to be alive. Furthermore, for the saints, for the elect, the hopeful elect, for the brothers that's in the know. Because your average American is terrified. He's thinking about the draft. He's thinking about, how is he going to survive? He's got all these type of thoughts flowing around his head when he doesn't. He's Psalms 55 and what we just read it 22. He's not going to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi and letting him sustain thee. He ain't going to that strong tower. He's going to a carnal minded sense of, let me get ammo, let me get guns, let me get all this, and let me defend myself in a carnal minded way. Right? And he's going to be took out the way. This is Ecclesiasticus 25:7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy. And the 10th I will utter with my tongue, a man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. And that's what we get to see. Lord willing, Yahawah, man. Alright, we get to see, regardless if we be martyred and took out the way, if we die in Hamashiach, we good. We coming right back in the everlasting body and putting hands on these devils. And that's what we want at the end of the day. Alright, oppression shall make a wise man mad. And we are mad, we are angry, and we hate this devil continuously, right? For what he done, what he does constantly, and he got to get took out the way. So hey, with that being said, all praises be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, and Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect. Hope this was edifying. Kwam Yasharahla and a Bible ball to this wicked kingdom. May Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi destroy this bitch very soon. Shalawam to you, brothers. Stay up. Shalawam.